The nature of a relationship is that it is focused on the emotional part rather than the physical part. Extremely proud to propose two things in this speech. Firstly, some framework, and secondly, a few arguments supporting our side of the house. Firstly, framework, 3 points. A, that we're not banning romantic relationships. We are only supporting the platonic relationship more than the romantic relationship. B, platonic relationship means a kind of relationship that is higher and deeper than friendship, but at the same time, there will still be some physical movement between the couple. Moreover, note here that romantic relationship only lies between the couple, but platonic relationship can be everywhere, hence helping people more. The main difference of them lies between one having sex and the other one don't. However, these differences can bring a lot of harm on our opponent's side of the house, such as sexual criminals and letting children getting exposed to harmful information due to due to the depiction of the romantic relationship in media. See, why specifically the media? This is because the media, as an important platform for informational spreading, have the responsibility of reflecting the diversity and complexity of a society. While romantic relationships have a significant part of people's life, not everyone views that as a center of the existence. Platonic relationship, which are pure spiritual exchanges and deep emotional connections, provide viewers with another point of view of looking at interpersonal relationship. The depiction helps broader people's horizon and promote understanding and respect for the diversity of interpersonal relationship. Moreover, media is a public place to share information, but comparatively, romantic relationship is more private, meaning that we should not actually share that on social media. Just moving on to my argument about why it can balance the negative effect that romantic relationship can bring in the media. Before moving on, happy to take POI. 3, 2, 1. Seeing that no POIs, I'm gonna continue on my speech. The first thing to note here is that even though romantic relationship can bring a bit of great experience, it can still bring you a lot of harmful effects, such as emotional dependency, anxiety, and arguments. Now, our opponents might say that the physical part is the thing that is unique about romantic relationship. However, note here that the most special thing about love is actually the kind of relationship in their heart that are connecting them, but not the physical thing that they may do. This means that this means that you have to actually learn platonic relationship on our side of the pure hearts. Probability of a couple having argument and anything like that, basically making all of their couples relationship becoming better and better. Now, imagine that you're on both sides of you can be on both sides of the house. Which one do you want to be? I mean, obviously on our side of the world, because on our side of the world, you can have the ability of getting both sides benefit, but you do not have to get the negative effect that opposite side must have to you. So, in conclusion, since I've already proven that our side of the world is the best to the whole society, please give the ballot to the proposition bench. Thank you.
Honorable adjudicator, our society has a problem, and we will be debating whether or not a platonic relationship is better than romantic relationships in the media. Our stance is that we stand for people who to have any type of relationship with others as they wish in the media. Now, let us define a platonic relationship. It is a relationship that is a close bond relationship with no romantic or sexual features. Then we would like to define what is media. The media is like a mass communication, also, which means that any source of information is on the internet. Pat to propose. Next, I would like to refute the previous speaker. The Prime Minister has stated that a platonic relationship is better because it has a more deep and it has a more spiritual meaning. But this does not stand because a platonic relationship has frustration because of the emotional kind of relationship. Now I'll move on to my arguments. My primary argument regarding the motion is the freedom of lifestyle choices in the media. To elaborate, when we're in the media, we have our own choice to have a kind of relationship. It's our freedom of choice, but just with lifestyles. When we choose what kind of relationship we want to allow, a place for happiness, we get what we want. For instance, if I wanted a green cup and there were 3 other colors, then I got the green cup, then I would feel happy because I have gotten what I wanted. If we don't allow our choices on the media, we will become passive and not express who we are, which leads to my second argument. My secondary argument is that in the media, you can express who you are. To elaborate, in the media, if we don't express who we are, we start to act like we aren't and we wouldn't get what we want. To add on, when our platonic relationships are made, we wouldn't have an emotional No, sir. Romantic relationship, we can also make a relationship more private, and it would make a relationship closer. What when then you can express your feelings more. You can express your feelings before finding the relationship that you want, and when having a romantic relationship in the media, you would also have a more private and also you would express a more close relationship where you can express your feelings. Therefore, we're perhaps proposed.
Judge, our first speaker has already brought out a detrimental problem. So in my speech, I'll explain how do we solve this on our side. But before I move on, I'll start with some rebuttal. So our opponents in their first speech have been talking about how in the media, there should be some a choice that each person has. There should be a choice of what people should have. So we believe that this is a choice, but this should be a choice that is private. Because key difference between romantic and platonic relationships is that one is the romantic relationships are private. They should be at home and they can have the choice at home. But we believe that in the media, most medias are profit-driven companies. So we believe that these are the choice of the companies, and we believe that if they are to make this, we believe that this is not the choice of the people, and people still should have the choice at home. But we believe that in the media, we should still limit this because, as we have already proved, there's a detrimental harm. So in my speech, now I'll move on to why we believe that we are able to keep the knowledge of having romantic relationships while also limiting the harms. So we believe that on our side, we're still able to have younger people learn about these physical and sexual intimacies because they're able to learn about these things at school, and they're maybe able to learn from these things from their parents. But we believe that these things should be left at home or in school because they are private things. And we believe that they should, as we have talked about in our first speech, this could lead to harms in society, like having sexual crimes, and if they are exposed at too young of an age. And when a lot of media is depicting these things, then we believe that it is more likely that a lot of these people we believe that on our side we're able to have these movies being watched with the parents and the kids together, so they're able to learn about how a family works, because love is not everything is about having a romantic relationships. A lot of it is having a platonic relationship and how to build trust and how to raise a family, and I'll be happy to accept a POI.
Oh, you said that people, though children might get exposed to romantic relationships at a young age, but currently in the status quo right now, if we like, even in the current status quo right now, not many children get exposed to inappropriate things like that.
Um, okay, so we believe that on our side, on your side, even if they may not directly be able to like get all those things, we believe that obviously it is more likely on your side. So we believe that if there is still that risk there, because if they see those things, because yeah, it is obviously impossible to censor everything, every single thing on in society, like those things, everything that is sexual on the media, we believe that it is still a lot more likely for that to happen. So we believe that kids and young adults should not be using media, an industry that is driven purely for profit, to learn about physical and sexual things. We believe that this easily can be learned about in school, and with their in family. We believe that they can learn about these things at a certain age, which is appropriate for them, instead of maybe being exposed to these things by accident, or maybe just coming across these things. So we believe that we've already talked about in our first two speeches about the harm of if they are exposed to these things, and why they're more likely to be exposed to these things, because on our side we're able to mitigate the harms while also still keeping the learning at the same point. And we have talked about how we're able to keep the choice outside of media, but we believe that that we're able to still keep the choice in media because we're not purely
POI.
banning it, preferring its protected time. So we believe that we're able to keep the same benefits but also mitigating harm. So for all the reasons above, keeps the ballot to opposition. Thank
Team
you.
strongly believes the romantic relationship is better than platonic relationships in media, and I would like to first refute the previous speaker's arguments. The previous speaker has strongly presented that the previous speaker has presented that media, that romantic media might be inappropriate, or it might be bad to consume from a very early age. But on our team, we strongly disagree with this argument. To elaborate, very young kids that are mostly under 28 years old are kids that are being currently protected by their guardians. When they're protected by their guardians, when they watch a movie or when they go on the internet, when they watch a movie, they're more likely to be protected by their guardian. Their guardians will decide if they can watch the movie, or if they will, the guardians will be right next to them. So there isn't a chance that they might get this much all of the inappropriate. Also, from platonic relationships, there might be also some some of those inappropriate relationships. Also, we're not saying that all of this media will suddenly turn into romantic relationships. There will be still some gaps where there are no relationships, no type of romantic relationships shown. So these children, also under the guardian's watch, will not be able to really 100% consume this romantic relationship from a very young age. And even if they do, it's more likely to not be from very early age, like when they're 5 years old, because they're less likely to be able to watch YouTube or SNS, social media, Facebook, Instagram on their computer or cell phone on their own, since there is a very early age. So this is why I strongly believe that that this argument does not stand. I'll now like to first rebuild our previous speaker's argument. In our previous speaker's argument, we presented that it was the freedom of life choices in media. To elaborate, the previous argument was about that people have the freedom in their life choices to choose what kind of life they want to have. They want to have. They could also have romantic relationships, and also we're not saying that we're also not saying that the platonic relationship is bad. So it just gives the diversity of a lot of relationships, because romantic relationships are more likely to be more diverse. I'll now like to move on to our team's final argument. Our team's final argument was a our team's final argument was about no our team's final argument is about no relationship diversity in media might lead to not accepting the romantic people. To elaborate, so platonic relationship, if some people already have platonic relationship in media, they might think bad about romantic relationships because they don't know the perspective of romantic relationships. So what they can feel is that they might they might feel like that they might like pity these bad not bad but these romantic relationships and think that they're very bad and that they're the ones that have a very good relationship and platonic relationships there, which is not really bad case, but also it's bad to think bad of other people. So if we prefer romantic relationships, a lot of people will switch to romantic relationships, and they can also understand what these romantic relationships people feel, and also they can now know they can now also feel and not no longer discriminate and no longer think bad, and there will be no stereotypes about bad relationships, since they can now experience also romantic relationships as well. Honorable Judge, in my speech, I strongly presented a rebuttal towards the previous speaker, and I also present our team's final argument. This is why I'm proud to oppose for today's motion. Thank you.
So, in my speech, I will explain exactly why this is the clearest proposition ballot ever. So first, I will want to get something clear. As our first speaker has already said, on our side, we are only saying that we prefer we platonic relationships over sexual relationships on the media. There will still be the romantic relationships on the media. We're just saying that platonic relationships are better. Now, onto a few rebuttals. The opposition's last speaker have said that teenagers have guardians that will watch them and stop them from watching those romantic relationships and sexual relationships. However, as we all know, teenagers, we love to break rules, and it's really hard for the parents to always know exactly what their kids are watching. There's something called incognito mode that could basically let any kid get away with it, and their parent would not be able to catch. later. Secondly, they said that romantic relationships are likely to be more diverse than platonic relationships. That is definitely not true, because we've already stated that those sexual relationships are between a couple. However, platonic relationships can be a deep friendship, mentorship. Okay, I'll take one now.
When you said that people like young people will get exposed to like romantic relationships, you did not explain that social media has actually an age limit.
So can I ask, you're saying social media, number one, that was our last speaker. I never mentioned that in my speech. Number two, so social media has an age limit, right? So let's see. All my class, everyone basically here has some sort of social media. So me and Chaya, basically every single person has WeChat, and then as for other social media such as TikTok, everyone has TikTok as well. And
You answer.
no, thank you. All right, we're gonna continue now. All right, so now what has opposition also said? They have said that these relationships, they have said that you should be able to choose your relationship, and they said each person has a choice, and in the media you can choose what to show. However, these arguments have just been about why there should be romantic relationships on the web. They have not explained why it is why romantic relationships are much better than platonic relationships. They have only explained that it is a person's choice to if if they want to show like romantic relationships on the media. They have not explained why that it is better than platonic relationships. On the other hand, on our side of the house, we have stated that there will be both romantic relationships and platonic relationships. We're just saying that platonic relationships are preferred. And finally, we have also brought up the argument on how it is beneficial to young adults and teens, as they can show a role model of a family, and how like to navigate conflicts and address emotions and build connections. And our opponents have failed to rebut that point. So because we are completely dominating this debate, please vote for proposition.
Judge, today we stand for media and show why we do not need society to prefer platonic relationships in the media. Today I will be presenting two clashes to again oppose the motion. However, first let me refute what the other team has talked about on and on. First, my first rebuttal goes to the PM. The PM talked about how the children might watch something inappropriate, like inappropriate romantic relationships in the media. Well, if a child was watching a movie, he would know if it was inappropriate or not. It's not like I'm just gonna let any child watch an inappropriate movie. I've got to first make sure, oh, the child is old enough. Two, the child has like the parents' consent too. And even if and now let me move on to my and also he talked about how like there might be like he might find something that's inappropriate in the social media, and then social media and might look at it. However, if you're gonna access anything inappropriate in like social media, no, like in YouTube, you've got to like first up put your information to show that you're 18, to show that you actually should be allowed to watch it. Second of all, my rebuttal to the DPM is that the DPM refuted our LO by saying that a romantic choice should be private. This is wrong. It's a person's free will to do whatever they want in the media. They can say whatever they want. The media, no, is literally defined as a place where you can talk about anything. Now, moving on, let me present my first clash, which is which side of the house provides a society where all relationships are accepted? Judge, this clash falls down to our side of the house. Judge, our DLO has already talked about how if the people in the media only see one type of relationship, platonic, people might think it's the only good relationship type. Judge, some people influenced by it. So then people seeing only one type of relationship will only use that on own the overall relationships that happens all over society. Judge, our team stance has already told you we stand for a world where in the media you only get views for being in a platonic relationship. Judge, allowing emotion is the same as teaching a person how to love, how to accept, and how to think. Simply put, this no cannot. Simply put, this motion cannot stand. Judge, let me provide you a comparative. Would you rather live in a world where when watching media movies that are platonic, instead of would you rather instead of you are watching platonic movies instead of romantic movies, the only popular movies would be like platonic because it's the only movie that were accepted. This motion is saying we should only allow people to express themselves and how they love each other. Oh, it's in protected time right now. In a particular way. That is a force, so you can in a particular way. And also in the media, you're going to also be sort of forced if you're an actor, to only picture yourself in a platonic relationship. You can maintain fame too. Now, please let me move on to my second question, which is which side of the house does people express who they really are? Josh's motion itself makes people only support one party in relationships. The platonic people. George, even if we say that a romantic relationship is not bad, if you only watch one type of relationship in the media, that will make people think that since no one is in a romantic relationship, that's morally wrong. When it's not even if you're that's morally wrong. Even if the government isn't going to be banning it. Today I presented two clashes and rebuttals proving why our team takes this debate home. Proud to propose. In this debate, we will be telling you why our team should rightfully win this debate and why the government side does not stand. Firstly, the government side has stated that young children would get exposed to sexual relationships in the media, but this does not stand because the media has an age limit. For example, Instagram and YouTube also has the age limit of 13, and plus the children who use it actually are protected by their guardians, as our DLO has already stated. Then the government side has already stated that a platonic relationship is better because it allows a more spiritual and deep and emotional relationship. But this does not stand because it is more open to people in the media, which allows people to get exposed to more of them, more of the platonic relationship. And a romantic one is more private. So the response to our whip speakers POI does not stand. Our team has won because we can express our feelings. To elaborate, for romantic relationships in the media, it is more private, and the platonic relationship is more public. To show you a comparison, in the media, when you express your feelings, you feel happy. And the other comparison is that when you're not acting like yourself and you choose another kind of relationship that you do not want. Next, our team has won because we have already said that we have a freedom of lifestyle. What this means, I'll elaborate. They can choose their own lifestyle, which is romantic, because it is better. For instance, romantic is more private, and the media is a place to share. The platonic relationship is also more public, so people will get exposed to it. Proud to propose.
We are not banning having sexual relationships in movies. We believe that we just should limit them. We believe that in this motion, we have never said in all of our speeches that we are not giving people the choice. We just believe that having platonic relationships are much better. Our opponents have been talking about how this should be a choice and that we should not be able to ban these things, and people should have the choice of what they watch. And if they watch just one thing, they'll think society is this way. So first of all, we have never talked about how we're going to remove having sexual relationships. We believe that we just want more of having platonic relationships because we've already talked about the harms of having sexual crimes and all those things. And we believe our opponents have talked about how that a lot of people, they're just going to miss out on this. They do not understand what society is really like. First of all, we have talked about how many alternatives we have of learning about these things. They can go to health clinics instead of learning in the media. Students can learn about sexual relationships in schools. They do not need to watch a movie or read a book about having this, because love does not constitute towards having physical intimacy or all of that, as we have already talked about. So we believe that, first of all, we have already put out the harm of having sexual crimes and all this. If a lot of people, maybe not just kids, but even adults, if they're exposed to this too much. But we've also brought out how we are able to have the benefits on our opponent's side, like teaching these things to students, or going to a health clinic for adults. So we believe that we're able to have the benefits on their side, and taking them in the best case, we're able to mitigate the harm on our side, which they have not responded to, about how they're and we have explained why there's more likely to be sexual crimes. And even if, let's just say in our worst case, that maybe we cannot fully eliminate it, but we believe that at least we're able to limit it, and we still have the benefits of those sexual relationships. Just we believe that we should not prefer that thing over platonic relationships. Thank you. Please give the ballot to proposition. Thank you.